Hello guys, this is Tuffin with another video today. So I haven't uploaded since my last little vlog in a while. This will be another pretty much unedited vlog, and I apologize for the portrait view, but YouTube makes it look less bad for the time being. But yeah, this is my Giant Rain 2 2018. Now, this bike already means so much to me because I've been aiming at an upgrade for quite some time now. Because the last bike I had, if you guys know anything about your bikes, it's my first bike was a Giant Boulder 3, and as I grew bigger, it started to become too small, so I'd customized it with you know, its own pedals, wider bars, shorter stem, and eventually some Maxxis tires because the stock ones were getting pretty worn out. But that's not the exciting bike, this one is. So the Rain 2 is the entry-level model of the Rain series. So I'll run through the specs for you. So on the front, we've got a Giant P-AM2 27.5 carbon wheel. It's got a 200mm rotor at the front, which is a Shimano hydraulic brake. I'm not exactly sure which one. It's got a Maxxis Shorty 3C Max Terra EXO and TR tubeless ready 27.5 tires. They're 2.5 inches wide, so they're super wide, nice and grippy, and super low profile. Beefy stuff, made for downhill, awesome stuff. Brake levers, Shimano, they're really good, they feel nice, they're responsive. Stock Giant grips, although they are lock-on, so won't need to upgrade that anytime soon. I've got a SRAM Trivative, I think that's how you say it, yeah, Trivative Descender stem. And the most important feature, the bell. Yeah, a similar thing for the back wheel. It's got a Maxxis high roller, same, you know, features, 3C Max Terra EXO TR. It is a 2.4 wide inch tire, so while it's not as wide as the front one, it's also still, it's a higher profile than the Shorty, but, oh god, I love the high roller, it's awesome. It's a 180mm rotor on the back, so very big motors on both the rotors on the front and back. Now getting into the center here, so we've got a RockShox Deluxe shock, 160mm of travel, got a carbon trunnion mount, which is a very nice feature, and it's probably one of the selling points of going into the 2018 one instead of the 2017 one. So it didn't come with pedals, and the store I got was kind enough to put some, you know, pedals on there, but they weren't these ones. Those were they were just normal plastic ones. These are, I believe, Giant Core Sport, and I've got the reflectors on there just because I like to ride around the street and that, you know, because I don't have access to the trails all the time. Yeah, so that's the center. Yeah, 30-tooth chainring on the front. It's a Praxis Works. I only just realised that. Praxis Works cranks. I did know that. MRP chain protector. I'm not sure what the technical term for is. It's a 1x10 drivetrain with, I believe, it's a 40-tooth chainring set. It's done really nicely for me, and it's a nice, luxurious upgrade from my previous bike. The Shimano Dior shifter, great stuff, although I did hear people say that it's a shifter made for 11 cassettes, but it's been slightly modified by Giant to suit the 10 cassette. I'm not entirely sure. And some people did have some complaints about it, but me personally, this whole bike is just a luxurious feel. Chain stay protector, you know, pretty standard stuff. We'll move on to the seat. So I've got a Giant contact neutral. saddle, which everyone loves their Specialized saddle, but the Contact I've always done pretty good for me, even though this one's a new saddle that I haven't sat on yet. And the cool feature about it is a dropper post. So I'm going to block the camera for a few seconds here, but so that lever there, camera will move down. It's a tough seat. Yeah, there we go. Now the saddle is down. Now, lots of cross-country riders that like to dial back their weight don't like this, but me personally, since I'm going for enduro, that's why I ended up getting the Rain. The dropper post is probably ideal for the kind of riding I do. And, yeah, it's really nice saddle, quick action. Yeah, the seat post's been doing great so far. And the reason it's good for me to personally have the seat down out of the way is because, you know, I like to jump. Even though I didn't do BMX or whatever, just jumping's fun. I've yet to find someone who doesn't like jumping on a bike. But moving on to back to the front again. Now the fork is a 160mm RockShox Yari fork, which I've heard is just a slightly heavier version of the Lyric. Yeah, that's it, the Lyric. Because the Lyric is the 160mm highline fork, whereas this is the midline fork. Honestly, I don't really care. It's an air fork, first of all, with 160mm travel. It's done real good for me. Like as I ride, you know, more midline, highline bikes, I might notice the flaws of this one, but so far it's great. The stanchions are nice and thick, they're stiff, they don't flex. The compression controls are flexible, so are the rebound. It's, yeah, just a really nice bike. Now onto the more, you know, general features. It's a large frame, because I am around 5'11". So, and this bike is smack on, and because of the such the aggressive seat angle, you know, if I ever get taller, that seat will move, as it moves up, it will move back too. So, yeah, nice, perfect frame for me, and the 65-degree head angle. Now, for people looking at a new bike, consider looking at the head angle. The head angle is probably one of the more important features on your bike. I would look at that before looking at anything else, because it really defines the way you ride. I like to ride aggressive, you know, go steep angles and do jumps and all that. Now for jumps, I hear that a steeper head angle is more suitable, but honestly, the 65-degree head tube angle is just great. I love it. Yeah, everyone's disagreeing with me for getting a Rain instead of a Trance, because a Trance is more of a beginner's Julie, but the Rain, it's honestly more for me. I love it so much. It's, anyone's looking at a good entry-level enduro bike, this is the one to go, I reckon. Now that was the, that's the specs. As for how it feels, I can see what people mean by it can be a little bit heavy on the climbs. Now, now, lots of beginners can be, they can be discouraged when they're looking at a bike and that doesn't climb as well as others. But it's also important to keep in mind that these bikes are very expensive. They're not cheap for a bike with pedals on it. And, you know, for something this heavy, which weighs in at around 14 kilos, it climbs really well. While the weight doesn't allow you to race uphill like most other bikes do, it's got a really light, you know, cog on the back to keep the cadence going up the hill. And you don't go up the fastest, so I wouldn't recommend doing a cross-country race with it, but it's certainly a comfortable bike to go uphill. I will say though, if you're doing any steep technical climbs, that I'd probably go something more like the Trance. Or if you feel like getting the range still, just make the stem really long, because this is a downhill stem, and it'll take second to no effort for your front wheel to, you know, go up off the ground. Whereas the bike I had in Karatha, my hardtail, the giant boulder, that climbed really, really well. And I could race uphill. Like, I could have probably taken that to a cross-country race, mainly because it's so light. Because I had a relatively short stem on there as well, so it feels really good. The bars are insanely wide. I'll put that into perspective for you. Move my stupid hand out of the way. So this is the saddle here, and the bars are too wide to even fit them all on the whole screen. They are really, really wide bars, and for someone like me, that's made this bike so much more enjoyable. Like, you don't turn as fast as, say, as you would on a cross-country bike, but as a beginner, it's also better to get wider bars because you have more control. That twitchiness that you would get with shorter bars, and also, like I said before, a steeper head tube angle. That twitchiness isn't exactly confidence-inspiring for beginners. So the wide bars are insanely comfortable. And yeah, I'm not too much of an expert about geometry other than that. I mean, the wheelbase is huge. I mean, if I go out here, like that's the start of the wheelbase there. That's my foot, and that's a good 1.5 meters. It's a long bike. So if you're gonna do technical uphill stuff, like I said, not exactly the one to go. But if you're that guy that likes to go to the single trail locally, and you just want to shred the downhill, have the most fun, and go back up to do it again, this is the bike. That's another reason I got the Rain, because I want to get into downhill, and this is acting as my gateway to downhill. Because if I want to do it downhill, I'll get myself something like a Glory or something like that. But I still want to be able to ride with my mates and all that. So the Rain is pretty much smack on my bike. So yeah, that was the Giant 2018 bike review. I do have an action camera, but until I figure out how to strap it on to my Fox helmet, I'm not going to have much bike videos other than consisting to my backyard. Let me know what you want to see in the comments though. Like, I've only ridden so much other bikes, but I can give you based off numbers and paper, or what's statistically good on paper, I can recommend bikes, for people that want it. And, yeah, I hope you enjoy the video, and if you want, and more importantly, tips on getting your first dual suspension mountain bike and you want to get serious, comment below. I'll definitely be able to give you a hand if you want. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later.